7 children. A husband locked away for over a decade. A family name synonymous with scandal. And one burning question haunting millions of viewers: has Anna Duggar finally abandoned Josh? New Bombshell reports suggest the prison walls aren't the only thing keeping them apart. A shocking hair transformation, whispers of a lucrative new business, and a troubling silence from inside a federal penitentiary all hint that the unthinkable might be happening. But is Anna really moving on? Or is this the ultimate test of a marriage forged in the spotlight and shattered by disgrace? Strap in. The story of Anna and Josh Duggar is far from over. To understand the weight of the question, we must rewind. Joshua James Duggar, the eldest of Jim, Bob and Michelle's now famous 19 children, was always in the spotlight. Born March 3, 1988, he was the pioneer, the first son in a family that would become a reality TV institution. And on September 26, 2008, he married Anna Renee Keller, beginning what was presented as a fairy tale union within their conservative, faith-based world. The family's official website once painted an idyllic picture, a couple who loved family RV trips, with highlights like taking the kids to see the Grand Canyon and frequent visits to Florida to see Anna's family. They described a bustling, joyful home with 7 children: Mackenzie, Michael, Marcus, Meredith, Mason, Mariella, and Madison. Anna was the dedicated mother, Josh the family man. This was the image cemented during the 19 kids and counting on era. But that foundation had cracks long before it very publicly collapsed. The first major scandal hit in 2015, involving past misconduct by Josh. The show was cancelled, rebranded, and the family's image was permanently fractured. Yet, Anna stood by him. They pressed on, welcoming more children, trying to rebuild within the confines of their faith, which holds marriage as a sacred, unbreakable covenant. Then came the arrest that changed everything. In April 2021, Josh Duggar was arrested on charges of receiving and possessing child pornography. The trial that followed was a national spectacle. In 2022, he was convicted and sentenced to 151 months, roughly 12.5 years, in federal prison. He continues to maintain his innocence, but the evidence was damning, and the door to his cell slammed shut. And here is where our central mystery truly begins. Anna Duggar, now a mother of 7 alone, faced an impossible crossroads. A source close to the family at the time told Us Weekly in 2022, she won't move on with another man. They don't believe in divorce. Another insider stressed that her children were her number one priority. Her public stance was one of steadfast loyalty. She believed in his innocence, released statements supporting him, and remained a constant, if pained, presence. But behind the scenes, a profound isolation was setting in. Cousin Amy Duggar King, who has been vocal about her disgust for Josh's actions, revealed she reached out to Anna when all of that was going on. She told Anna, "I'm here for you if you ever need anything." The response? Silence. Amy says she never heard back. Sister Jill Duggar, who has her own fractured history with the family, expressed similar bewilderment in a 2023 interview. "I have no idea why Anna has decided to stay with Josh. I have seen her on a few occasions, but I want to respect her. I know she's asked for some space." The walls were closing in, not just around Josh in prison, but around Anna in her own life. So, with her husband incarcerated until 2032, and a deliberate distance from some family, a critical question emerged: how does Anna Duggar survive? Fast forward to late 2023, 2024, and into the present. The Anna Duggar emerging in rare public glimpses is a woman subtly but unmistakably changing. In November 2023, she was spotted in an Instagram photo with friends at a Florida tea shop. The caption read, "Fueled by tea and sister love." But it was Anna's appearance that sent fans reeling. Gone were her signature dark locks. She had debuted a dramatic new look, light blonde hair styled in loose waves. The reaction online was swift. One fan commented, "I barely recognized her, which was probably why she went blonde tbh." Another said, "It took me so long to find her. Looks way different." A hair transformation is often just that, a new style. But in the context of a woman defined by her past, it was seen by many as a symbolic shedding of skin, a visual declaration of a new chapter. Then came the entrepreneurial venture. To support her large family, Anna reportedly started a business, Golden Grove Pups, a puppy breeding operation. And according to a 2025 report from The Globe, cited by Café Mom, this isn't just a hobby. The business has become lucrative. The same report paints a picture of a life in motion that starkly contrasts with Josh's stagnant existence behind bars. It claims Anna is living high on the hog, treating herself to luxuries she never used to, going out and getting massages and nights out with friends. It's even alleged she's redecorating a new house, reportedly bought for her by Jim Bob Duggar. Now, let's go to the source of the most explosive rumors, the prison itself. According to that same report, these changes are not going unnoticed by Josh Duggar. A source claims Josh is convinced that Anna is leaving him behind. The idea that she is building a successful, independent, and even enjoyable life without him reportedly burns him. He's said to be fearful in prison, eating slop and enduring insults from other inmates, while hearing stories of Anna's new normal. Most tellingly, the source alleges that Anna's once regular visits to the FCI Seagoville prison in Texas have become less and less frequent, and now, she seems happier without him. The report's chilling conclusion from Josh's perspective, Anna was and is his whole world. He feels she's leaving him behind. But let's pause and scrutinize this narrative. These reports are largely from tabloids, citing unnamed insiders. Where is the hard evidence? We have the visual proof of her changed appearance. We have the public record of her business. But the emotional state of their marriage, Josh's fears, the frequency of visits, these remain in the realm of speculation. However, even Josh's sister Jill acknowledges the strangeness, watching with everybody else, kind of just what unfolds. The uncertainty is the story. And complicating it all is the Duggar family's own relentless forward momentum. While one branch of the family tree is frozen in a painful stasis, the rest of it is blooming wildly. The family is, as always, dominated by births and weddings. Let's break down just a bit of this constant growth. Anna Duggar, the eldest daughter, finally married Stephen Wisman in 2024 and is expecting her first child in January 2026. John David Duggar and his wife Abby are expecting their third child, also due in early 2026. Jed and Katie Duggar recently traveled to Europe for a month with their 4 young children, including twin girls, documenting it on YouTube. Jason and Maddie Duggar celebrated their first anniversary with a trip to Colonial Williamsburg. The family blog buzzes with travel, vlogs, and large family beach vacations. Life for the Duggars, in stunning contrast to Anna's situation, is literally being counted on, through new babies, new adventures, and new YouTube channels. Anna is present at some events, like Jana's wedding, but she exists in a parallel reality, one of solo parenting, financial pressure, and unbearable public scrutiny. So, we return to our central, gripping question: are Anna and Josh Duggar still together? Legally and formally, as of today, January 2026, the answer appears to be yes. There has been no filing for divorce or legal separation. Anna has not publicly announced any such intention. Based on her previously stated beliefs and the teachings of her faith, the default position is one of commitment for better or for worse, even if the worse is a catastrophic, publicly humiliating prison sentence. But together is a word that implies partnership, shared life, and mutual building of a future. By that definition, the picture is murkier than ever. The evidence suggests a profound and growing separation. Physical separation: Josh is incarcerated until at least 2032. Reports, if true, claim visits are dwindling. Emotional and lifestyle separation: Anna is reportedly building an independent, functional life, running a business, caring for children, socializing with friends. Josh is reportedly consumed by fear, jealousy, and isolation. Philosophical separation: the world Anna must navigate to survive and protect her children in 2026 is light years away from the insulated, controlled environment of her early marriage. Every business decision, every public appearance, requires a strength and autonomy that her previous role may not have demanded. Cousin Amy Duggar King perhaps articulated the silent hope of many watching this tragedy when she wrote to Anna in 2022, "Anna, I feel for you. No woman wants to be in your shoes. You're faced with an impossible decision. You've been taught since you were a child that marriage is forever. You didn't choose any of this, and your kids certainly didn't either." It was a public plea for Anna to choose herself. The truth is, we are watching a slow-motion, real-life drama with no known ending. Every sighting of Anna, with blonde hair, with friends, at a wedding, is dissected for clues. Every rumor from a prison source is devoured by the public. But Anna Duggar herself remains a sphinx, offering no answers, living a life that is simultaneously under a microscope and hidden behind a veil of necessary privacy. The coming years will be the real test. As Josh's sentence stretches on, will Anna's independent identity solidify to the point where returning to the old dynamic is impossible? Will financial pressures or the well-being of her 7 children force a re-evaluation of her strict doctrinal stance? Or will her faith prove to be the unshakable core, leading her to wait, however painfully, for a reunion in 2032? This story is unresolved because it is still being written, not by TV producers, but by the slow march of time, the choices of a woman in an impossible bind, and the crumbling patience of a man facing over 7 more years in a cell. The counting on camera crews are gone, but the world is still watching, waiting for the next fragment of the story to break. Will there be a tell-all book, as some have speculated? Will the puppy business blossom into a major enterprise? Will Josh's fears in prison manifest in some new, public way? The only certainty is uncertainty. And that is the state of the union between Anna and Josh Duggar as we know it today. A story of scandal, faith, survival, and a transformation that may or may not lead to liberation. It is a human drama wrapped in a true crime headline, playing out in real time. What do you think? Has Anna already emotionally left this marriage? Is her physical and legal departure just a matter of time? Or will she become the ultimate symbol of unwavering commitment, for better or worse? The debate is what keeps this story alive. Hit that like button if you want us to continue tracking every twist and turn in this ongoing saga. Subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. The moment any confirmed news breaks, a statement, a legal filing, a major life event, we will be here to deliver the full, documented breakdown. Until then, the world watches and waits. This is not the end. It's just another chapter in a story that is far, far from over. Welcome, investigators, truth seekers, and documentary fans. I'm your host. And you've just entered the vault of unsolved mysteries and tangled truths. Before we go any further, if you're fascinated by stories where reality is stranger than fiction, where family loyalty battles with justice, make sure your seatbelt is fastened. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because what we uncover today is just the beginning of a much larger, unexplored narrative. This isn't a conclusion, this is an opening chapter. The question haunting forums, social media threads, and tabloid headlines is brutal in its simplicity. Did Anna Duggar turn informant? The claim is explosive, that Anna, the steadfast wife who stood by Josh Duggar through his very public scandals, trials, and convictions, might have reached a breaking point so profound that she agreed to wear a wire, secretly recording her own husband for law enforcement. Let's be clear from the outset. As of the recording of this documentary, there is zero confirmed, official evidence, no court documents, no law enforcement statements, no credible leaks, to substantiate this claim. It exists purely in the realm of rumor, speculation, and anonymous online sources. Josh Duggar was convicted in December 2021 on charges of receiving and possessing child sexual abuse material. His appeals are ongoing. Anna Duggar has remained, publicly, a supportive spouse, visiting him in prison and maintaining the family. The trial relied on digital forensic evidence, not secret recordings from a spouse. So, why won't this rumor die? Why does it persist with such eerie tenacity, growing in detail and conviction with each passing month? That's the real story we're exploring today. This isn't a story about a confirmed event. This is a story about a story. A modern myth in the making. A tale that speaks to our deepest fascinations with secrecy, betrayal, and the hidden cracks in a carefully constructed public image. To understand the power of this rumor, we must first understand the landscape it was born into. The Duggar family rose to fame with their reality TV show, presenting an image of conservative, Christian values, modesty, and tight-knit familial loyalty. Their brand was built on unity. Then came the avalanches. First, the revelations about Josh's past misconduct as a teenager. Then, the Ashley Madison infidelity scandal. And finally, the arrest and trial for the possession of illicit material. Each event tested the family's public stance and Anna's much scrutinized decision to stay. Public perception of Anna has always been polarized. To some, she is a victim, trapped by her upbringing and beliefs in a cycle of forgiveness and submission. To others, she is an enabler, choosing blind loyalty over moral protection. This dichotomy creates a fertile ground for explosive narratives. The idea of her snitching is so compelling precisely because it bridges these two views. It transforms her from a passive figure into an active, albeit hidden, agent of justice. It's the ultimate plot twist, the quiet wife becoming the secret weapon. The rumor seems to have originated in the murky depths of online discussion boards dedicated to dissecting the family. Anonymous posters, claiming insider knowledge or connections to the legal proceedings in Arkansas, began dropping cryptic hints. Wait until the audio comes out, one might say. The feds had an insider wearing a wire, and it wasn't who you'd expect, claimed another. These fragments, devoid of names but heavy with implication, were picked up by commentary YouTube channels and gossip blogs. Through repetition, the unnamed insider became, by popular deduction, Anna. The proposed logic of the rumor often follows this pattern. The federal case against Josh was remarkably solid for a digital evidence case. Speculators ask, did they have something more? Could a recorded conversation, perhaps confirming his activities or state of mind, have been the ace up the prosecution's sleeve? And who, in his inner circle, would have the access and the motive to finally bring him down? The finger, in the realm of theory, points at the person sharing his home and life. But let's pause and inject the cold water of legal reality. First, obtaining consent from a spouse to wiretap another spouse is an extraordinarily delicate legal maneuver, fraught with ethical and marital privilege complications. Second, there has been no mention of any such recording in court filings, which would be a crucial piece of evidence. The prosecution's case was built on computer logins, file downloads, and passwords, a digital paper trail. Third, if such a risky operation had been undertaken and succeeded, it's highly unlikely it would remain a secret known only to internet sleuths after a conviction. Yet, the rumor evolves. New details emerge. Some versions claim it happened in the weeks leading to his arrest, as the net was closing. Others suggest it was earlier, during the initial Homeland Security investigation's raid on his car lot. There are even narratives that paint it as a desperate deal struck by Anna to secure leniency for herself or to guarantee custody of her children. Each iteration is more cinematic than the last, blending true crime tropes with soap opera drama. This brings us to the psychological engine driving this myth, the public's craving for narrative justice. Josh Duggar's crimes, given the family's moralizing public stance, created a profound dissonance. The legal justice system delivered its verdict. But for many observers, that felt insufficient. There was a hunger for a more poetic, dramatic form of comeuppance, one that involved the ultimate betrayal from within the fortress of his own family. The rumor of Anna wearing a wire satisfies that hunger. It provides a hidden story of courage and reckoning, a secret victory for good in the private sphere to match the public one in court. Furthermore, it reframes Anna's silence. Her public quietness, often interpreted as complicity or weakness, can be reimagined as the necessary silence of someone who has played a dangerous game and won. It turns her from an object of pity or scorn into a potential, clandestine hero. Whether true or not, the rumor itself is an attempt by the public to rewrite a story that left them deeply unsatisfied with the role of a key character. But what about the sources? Who are these anonymous voices, and what might their motives be? This is where our investigation branches into shadowy possibilities. Could they be simply trolls, fabricating drama for attention and clicks in a community ravenous for Duggar content? Entirely possible. Could they be individuals with tangential connections to the case, perhaps former associates, disillusioned family friends, or even fake accounts, seeding misinformation out of spite or a twisted sense of entertainment? Also possible. There's a darker, more speculative branch. Could the rumor itself be a form of psychological warfare? Aimed not at Josh, who is already imprisoned, but at Anna and the Duggar family? To plant seeds of paranoia and distrust within an already fractured dynamic? To punish Anna for staying, by creating a myth that would infuriate the family's loyalist base against her? In the high-stakes, low-ethics world of online fandom and anti-fandom, such tactics are not unheard of. The rumor is a weaponizable narrative. We must also consider the role of the media ecosystem. YouTube channels, blogs, and social media accounts dedicated to family drama have a voracious appetite for content. A slow news day in the Duggarverse can be jump-started by a provocative what-if video. The Anna wire theory is the perfect evergreen topic. It's unprovable, shocking, and drives immense engagement in the comments as people debate its plausibility. The rumor is not just a story, it's a business model for content creators. Each new video analyzing it gives it more oxygen, cementing it further in the collective consciousness, regardless of its truth. So, where does this leave us? With more questions than answers, and a narrative that is very much alive. Has Anna Duggar ever spoken to authorities? It's not impossible, many spouses in such situations are interviewed. But the leap from a voluntary interview to donning a wire is a chasm, legally and practically. Did law enforcement ever consider it? Without confirmation, we are in the realm of spy novels, not documented fact. The persistence of this claim tells us far more about us, the audience, the commentators, the public, than it does about Anna or Josh Duggar. It reveals our desire for hidden truths, for cleaner moral resolutions, and for the underdog to have a secret power. It shows how, in the digital age, a narrative can be born, nurtured, and sustained entirely on the fuel of speculation and desire, detached from the bedrock of verified fact. And this is precisely where our documentary must, for now, pause. Not end, pause. Because this story is not static. Josh Duggar's appeals process continues. New legal filings could, in theory, reveal unexpected facets of the investigation, though such a revelation is considered unlikely by legal experts. The family's story continues to unfold. Anna's own life path is still being written. Every few months, a new post, a new video, a new source breathes fresh life into the rumor, adding another layer to the legend. This is the nature of modern mysteries. They don't conclude with a neat ribbon at the end of a one-hour special. They sprawl, mutate, and live online. Our investigation, therefore, is ongoing. We will be monitoring court dockets, sifting through credible journalism, and yes, watching the whisper networks, not to spread rumors, but to understand the powerful currents of narrative they represent. And this is where you, the audience, become part of the documentary. Not by spreading unsubstantiated claims, but by practicing critical thinking. The next time you see a shocking headline about this case or any other, ask yourself, what is the primary source? Is this based on a document, a named official, or an anonymous forum post? What agenda might the person spreading this information have? Separating the signal from the noise is the most crucial skill in the information age. The question, did Anna Duggar wear a wire, may never be definitively answered in the public sphere. But the saga of the question itself, its birth, its life, and its undeniable impact on the perception of this ongoing family tragedy, is a complete, fascinating story in its own right. It's a case study in how 21st century folklore is born. If you're hooked on this deep dive into the intersection of crime, media, and modern mythmaking, your next step is crucial. Help us build a community dedicated to unraveling truths, not just spreading tales. Smash that like button, it tells the algorithm this is the kind of thoughtful content you want to see. Subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. Why? Because this is an ongoing series. Our next documentary installment is already in production. We'll be examining another persistent rumor surrounding a different high-profile case, tracing its digital footprints back to the source. You won't want to miss it. By subscribing, you're not just watching a video, you're joining an investigation. Furthermore, in the spirit of responsible exploration, I want to hear from you in the comments. Using respectful and thoughtful language, what are your theories on why certain rumors take hold and become unstoppable? Have you seen similar patterns in other celebrity or true crime cases? Let's have a substantive discussion below. Remember to keep it civil and based on observable patterns, not harmful speculation about individuals. The vault of mysteries is deep, and we've only just turned on the light. The story continues. The search for truth is never ending. I'm your host, your channel name / your alias, and I'll see you in the next episode, where we pull on another thread and see what unravels. Tragic fate. Hot update. Did Josh Duggar skip Anna's baby number 7 birth? Drops breaking news. That's the headline screaming across the internet right now. A single question, loaded with implication, splitting a family's most intimate moment wide open for public consumption. But what's the real story behind the clickbait? Welcome, everyone, to a deep dive where rumor meets reality, where headlines obscure the human story, and where the narrative is never as simple as it seems. I'm your host, and today, we're unpacking the layers of a media frenzy that centers on one birth announcement and the avalanche of speculation it triggered. Stick with me, because this is about more than just a tabloid headline. This is about the machinery of modern scandal, the echo chambers of online judgment, and a family that has lived their entire lives in the unforgiving spotlight. The news broke, as it so often does, not through a formal statement, but in fragments. A distant relative's cryptic post. A blurred photo from what might have been a hospital parking lot. The inevitable, hushed whispers on online forums dedicated to dissecting every move of the Duggar family. Then came the official, joyous announcement: Anna Duggar had welcomed her 7th child. A new life, a precious soul entering the world. And immediately, the digital sleuths got to work. The timeline was pieced together. Josh Duggar's known location, his legal circumstances, the dates, all were cross-referenced with the fervor of a detective novel. The central, burning question emerged and was instantly framed as a damning indictment: was he there? The clickbait titles wrote themselves. Josh abandons Anna in labor. Baby's birth met with stunning snub. Inside the heartbreak, Anna goes it alone. Each version more definitive than the last, each painting a picture of a deliberate, cruel absence. The comment sections became battlegrounds. One side voiced outrage, condemning the absence as the ultimate act of betrayal, a final piece of evidence in a long saga of letdowns. The other side, or at least a more cautious faction, urged restraint. We don't know the facts, they wrote. The legal system has strict rules. There could be a dozen reasons. But in the age of instant judgment, nuance is the first casualty. The absence of a confirmed fact was filled not with silence, but with the loudest, most emotionally charged narrative. So, let's pause the speculation. Let's rewind. To understand this moment, this single question about a birth, we have to understand the road that led here. The Duggar family first entered the public eye as a curiosity, then a phenomenon. Their show, 19 Kids and Counting, presented a universe of matching clothes, strict courtship rules, and a life built on specific religious principles. They were, to many, either an inspiring testament to family values or a fascinating case study in insular culture. Josh, as the eldest son, was often positioned as a representative, a young man groomed for leadership within that world. He married Anna Keller in 2008, a union presented as a fairy tale within their faith's framework. The babies started arriving, each one a celebrated milestone for the audience that felt they knew them. But the pristine public image began to develop cracks. First, there were the acknowledged past mistakes, the wrongdoing from his youth that was addressed within the family and later became a subject of media reports. The family's show was cancelled. Then, Josh re-emerged in a spin-off, still with Anna by his side, attempting to navigate a public redemption arc. They presented a united front, a marriage working through profound challenges under the watchful eye of their faith and their followers. Anna, in particular, became a figure of intense scrutiny and polarized opinion, seen as either a victim of circumstance or a paragon of unwavering, perhaps misguided, loyalty. Then came the legal earthquake. In April 2021, Josh Duggar was arrested by federal authorities. The charges were grave, centering on the receipt and possession of child sexual abuse material. The public narrative shattered completely. This was no longer about past teenage transgressions or reality show drama, this was about the federal criminal justice system. The trial was a media spectacle, detailing forensic evidence and dark digital footprints. In December 2021, the verdict came, guilty on all counts. The subsequent sentencing in 2022 sealed his fate for the foreseeable future, over 12 years in federal prison. This is the inescapable, overwhelming context for the birth of baby number 7. Josh Duggar is a federal inmate. His life is not his own, it is governed by the rules of the Bureau of Prisons, by court orders, by the sheer logistical and legal brick wall that separates an inmate from the free world. The question, was he there, cannot be answered through the lens of personal choice or marital devotion alone. It is a question that first must navigate a labyrinth of regulations. Could a federal inmate attend the birth of his child? The short, stark answer is, almost certainly not. The BOP has protocols for temporary releases, known as furloughs, but they are exceedingly rare and granted only under specific, compelling circumstances, such as the death of an immediate family member or to participate in a judicial proceeding. The birth of a child, while a monumental personal event, does not typically qualify. The security risks, the logistical costs, the staffing required, it presents an insurmountable hurdle. Furthermore, even if an extraordinary exception were theoretically possible, the nature of Josh Duggar's conviction would make the approval of such a request virtually impossible. The court and the system would see an immense, unacceptable risk. So, the breaking news implied by the clickbait isn't news at all. It's a foregone conclusion dictated by the sentence of the court. His absence wasn't a choice made in a hospital hallway, it was a consequence decided in a courtroom months earlier. Yet, the framing of the story as a snub or a dramatic skip personalizes it, makes it about a failing of character rather than the impersonal execution of justice. It transforms a legal reality into a soap opera plot point. This is where Anna Duggar's position becomes the focal point of immense, and often uncomfortable, public sympathy and analysis. By all public accounts, she has stood by her husband. She attended the trial. She has spoken of her commitment to her marriage covenant. The announcement of her 7th pregnancy, coming after his conviction and sentencing, solidified her stance in the eyes of the world. For her critics, it was a baffling, even infuriating act of allegiance. For her supporters within her faith community, it might be seen as the ultimate testament of grace and commitment. The birth, then, is not just a medical event. It is a powerful symbol. It is life insistently moving forward in the shadow of profound consequence. It is a mother bringing a new child into a family structure that is, by any measure, fractured and under immense strain. The baby's arrival is a private joy undoubtedly mingled with complex grief, for the present circumstances, for the future that will look nothing like what she might have once imagined. Every photo she may eventually share, every detail about the baby's name or weight, will be analyzed for clues about her state of mind, for messages about Josh, for signs of regret or resilience. And what of the other children? The 6 older siblings who now have a new brother or sister, but whose father is absent not for a business trip, but for a sentence that spans more years than they can currently comprehend. They are living a reality that is filtered through their mother's strength, their extended family's support, and the ever-present, low hum of public notoriety. Their story is the one often forgotten in the headline chase, the long-term, quiet impact on innocent lives. The media's role in this entire saga is worth examining. From the initial reality show that packaged their lives for consumption, to the investigative journalism that uncovered past secrets, to the tabloid frenzy that now dissects every social media post and rumor, the Duggar family has existed as a public commodity. The hot update culture treats their life events as episodes in an ongoing series. The birth of a child is reduced to a cliffhanger, will he or won't he, when the answer was legally predetermined. This cycle does something profound, it dehumanizes. It turns real pain, real moral complexity, real legal outcomes, into digestible, emotionally charged content designed for shares and comments. Let's also consider the broader community around them. Their specific religious upbringing, with its emphasis on patriarchy, female submission, and the absolute sanctity of marriage, provides the framework through which Anna, in particular, is making her choices. To judge her actions without attempting to understand that framework is to miss the entire point. She is not operating from a secular playbook of individualism and self-actualization, she is following a spiritual roadmap that commands a specific kind of endurance. Whether one agrees with that roadmap is a separate debate, but to ignore its power is to analyze her life in a foreign language. So, where does this leave us now, in the wake of this birth announcement? The breaking news has been consumed. The clicks have been registered. But the actual story continues, far away from the headlines. It continues in a federal prison, where a man is serving a sentence meant to punish and isolate. It continues in a home, where a mother is recovering from childbirth while managing a household of 7 children, likely with the help of her extensive family network. It continues in the hearts and minds of those children, for whom today's tabloid headline is tomorrow's painful digital footprint of their own childhood. The saga of the Duggars is, in many ways, a perfect storm of American fascination. It touches on religion, reality TV, crime, justice, gender roles, and the relentless hunger for content. It raises uncomfortable questions about forgiveness, accountability, and the limits of loyalty. The birth of this 7th child to Anna is not an endpoint, nor is it a salacious twist. It is the next chapter in a human story of staggering complexity. And this is where we must remember our own role as the audience. We are not merely passive consumers of this drama. With every click on a sensationalized headline, with every speculative comment, with every share of an unverified rumor, we fuel the machine. We tell media outlets what we want: more intrusion, more simplification, more judgment. We participate in the commodification of a family's most painful moments. The real tragic fate might not be the one in the clickbait. The deeper tragedy could be the environment we've created where a woman's experience of childbirth becomes a public referendum on her life choices, where a child's first breath is met with a torrent of online noise about their father's crimes, where legal consequences are rewritten as personal melodrama. The story continues, not because of a hot update, but because the consequences of actions, both Josh Duggar's and our own as a culture, ripple outward for years. This isn't just about the Duggars. It's about how we consume pain, how we demand narratives of clear villains and victims, and how we struggle to sit with ambiguity. Anna Duggar's life is the very definition of ambiguity, bound by faith, shattered by crime, committed to a path few can understand, and now cradling a new life in the midst of it all. That's not a headline, it's a human condition. And as this story inevitably continues, with appeals, with prison visits, with the children growing up, with future milestones all filtered through this reality, the question for us is, how will we engage with it? Will we seek the quick hit of moral certainty from a sensationalized title, or will we acknowledge the profound, messy, and deeply uncomfortable complexities that defy easy answers? The narrative doesn't end here. In fact, this is merely a moment of pause in a story that will unfold for years to come. What will the future hold for this 7th child, born into a legacy of fame and infamy? How will the family dynamics evolve as the older children grow into teenagers and young adults, with full access to the digital record of their family's very public unraveling? What does the path forward look like for Anna, navigating the immense practical and emotional challenges of single-handedly raising 7 children, all while maintaining a connection to a man in prison for a heinous crime? And what of Josh Duggar himself, facing over a decade behind bars? How will time, reflection, and the strict reality of prison life alter the man at the center of this storm? These are the questions that will drive the next chapters, questions no clickbait headline can adequately contain. The legal appeals process alone is a slow-moving saga that will generate its own cycles of news and speculation. Every family photo, Every social media post from relatives, every snippet of information from the prison system will be parsed for meaning. The court of public opinion will remain in perpetual session, delivering new verdicts with every development. The children, once the backdrop of a cheerful reality show, will grow into individuals who must reckon with their father's actions and their family's unique, painful place in the cultural spotlight. Their journeys, their struggles, their triumphs, their choices, will become the unexplored sequel to today's headlines. This is a story with no clean ending, a real-life narrative where resolution may be elusive, and where understanding requires looking beyond the easy drama of a single missed birth to the enduring, complicated years that follow. If you found this deep dive into the story behind the headlines compelling, then you need to be part of this conversation. The narratives that shape our culture are too important to be left to clickbait alone. We are building a community here that looks deeper, that asks the harder questions, and that seeks understanding over outrage. So, take action right now. Hit that like button if you want more content that goes beyond the sensational. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because we will continue to follow complex stories like this, providing context and analysis you won't find anywhere else. Your subscription tells YouTube this is the kind of thoughtful content we need more of. Most importantly, I want to hear from you. This is a story that sparks intense debate and reflection. What are your thoughts on the media's role in private family tragedies? Where is the line between public interest and exploitation? How do we, as an audience, consume these stories more responsibly? Drop your insights, your perspectives, and your questions in the comments below. Let's have a respectful, substantive discussion. Share this video with someone who engages with media critically. Every share, every thoughtful comment, helps build a better dialogue. The story continues. And by subscribing, you're ensuring you have a front row seat to the analysis that matters, not just the headlines that shock. Join us. Subscribe now. Let's keep digging deeper, together.
A former cast member of 19 Kids and Counting, who is 33 years old, was arrested on Thursday, April 29th and is currently being held without bond in a jail in Arkansas. Following that, on May 5th, he made an appearance via Zoom at a court session where the judge set expectations. As Josh's attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf, U.S. Chief Magistrate Judge Aaron L. Weidman warned the defendants that, due to the seriousness of the charges, a third-party custodian would likely be needed to ensure compliance with bond conditions. For the ex-TLC star's bail release, the judge suggested he remain in a residence where there are no minors in the home, thereby barring him from returning to the marital home he had with Anna. Even though Josh was originally held without bail, he will have an opportunity to ask for bond at his next hearing. Charges of receiving and possessing child pornography were verified in a press statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of Arkansas, although they were not read aloud during his Friday court appearance. A portion of the material purportedly pertaining to the sexual abuse of minors younger than 12 years old was obtained by Duggar in May 2019, according to the release. The trial is scheduled to commence in July. 20 years in jail and fines of up to $250,000 await his conviction. Since 2008, the political activist and Anna, 32, have been married. Their joint children include 11-year-old Mackenzie, 9-year-old Michael, 7-year-old Marcus, 5-year-old Meredith, 3-year-old Mason, and an infant daughter named Mariella. Anna shared the happy news that the couple are expecting their 7th child on Instagram just before Josh was arrested. While Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar have spoken out on the incident, Anna has remained silent regarding the accusations against her husband. "We are grateful for the ongoing prayers for our family during this difficult time," Josh's parents expressed to Us Weekly on Friday through their family representative. Joshua faces some quite grave charges today. Whatever the truth may be, we hope it will be revealed soon so that this can be put to rest. All of us here love Josh and Anna, and they are in our prayers. Jinger Duggar and her husband Jeremy Vuolo expressed their disturbed reaction to the charges, as did Josh's sister Jinger. In an Instagram post from Friday, the couple made it plain that they strongly denounced child abuse in any form and fully supported the authorities and the legal system as they sought justice. Josh has been embroiled in scandals before. The first son of the Duggar family was accused of assaulting numerous girls while he was a teenager, leading to the cancellation of 19 Kids and Counting in May 2015. After his Ashley Madison accounts were exposed in The Breach the following August, he confessed to cheating on his wife. Counting On, a spin-off series that TLC produced for the family that has run for 11 seasons, began when he checked into a faith-based treatment center. A legal struggle has engulfed Josh Duggar, who was formerly known as the face of the Duggar family's reality TV fame, and has devastated his personal life as well as that of his family members. Duggar rose to fame as the eldest son of a big, conservative Christian family on the TLC reality show 19 Kids and Counting. But in the past few years, his reputation has gone downhill dramatically. Duggar was taken into custody in 2021 after being accused of having CSAM, or child sexual abuse material. The public and critics were both taken aback by his arrest, which revealed a hitherto hidden dark side of the Duggar family. The events leading up to Duggar's trial and conviction, which altered the course of his life irrevocably, continued to transpire after his arrest. Because of his arrest and the continuing legal proceedings, Josh Duggar is currently unable to see any of his 6 children, according to a judge's ruling. The detention and trial. The federal government apprehended Duggar in April 2021 on suspicion of possessing CSAM. An inquiry into Duggar's activities allegedly started in 2019, leading up to the arrest. For a family whose reputation had been founded on religious principles and a dedication to family, the accusations were particularly upsetting. The defense team for Duggar sought to clear his client's name by arguing that the evidence was inconclusive throughout the trial. The prosecution, however, offered information that cast a negative light on Duggar's behavior. Sentencing for Duggar occurred after his conviction on 2 charges of CSAM possession in December 2021. Many have been amazed to see the man who was once a symbol of good family values become the center of criminal accusations in the court processes surrounding Duggar's case, which has captivated the public. What has troubled him the most, though, is how the matter has affected his family, especially his kids. Effects on Duggar's progeny. The Duggar family is under a great deal of stress due to Josh's legal troubles. Despite the seriousness of the accusations, his wife Anna Duggar has publicly supported him during the judicial procedures. Given the seriousness of her husband's accusations, however, many have questioned Anna's decision to stay at his side. Anna has chosen not to comment on the allegations, but the whole Duggar family is now in the limelight, and many are wondering how they will be able to live up to their former ideals in light of one member's behavior. The allegations have had the greatest impact on Josh Duggar's 6 children, whose ages span from infants to preteens. A judge decreed that Duggar would not be permitted to visit his children, at least for the time being, after his detention. The seriousness of the accusations against him and our worries for the children's protection led us to this conclusion. The choice to prohibit Duggar from visiting his children, following a hearing during which the court considered the hazards to the children's physical and mental health, the decision was taken to prohibit Josh Duggar from visiting his children. The judge decided that keeping Duggar away from the kids while he was on trial was in their best interest because the charges against him were so serious. The temporary ban doesn't diminish the seriousness of the problem or the worries about Duggar's capacity to be a good father, though. The mental and emotional toll that a father's legal issues can take on his children was considered by the court when making its ruling. The Duggar children are now embroiled in a public scandal involving their father in ways they might not really comprehend, which is surely a difficult scenario for them. It must have been incredibly difficult for Anna Duggar to decide to separate her children from their father. She probably feels conflicted about her duty as a mother and her devotion to her husband. How Josh's arrest and subsequent legal proceedings will impact the family dynamic in the long run is an open question. How the general public reacted. Many people are angry about Josh Duggar's activities and how they have affected his family, but others are unsure of how to feel about his legal difficulties. Because he was once regarded as a role model for Christian principles, fans of the Duggar family feel deceived and have been quite loud in their criticism. Given Duggar's prominent position in the public spotlight, many have questioned how his activities could have gone unchecked for so long. Because of how close-knit the Duggar family is and how much they try to keep their private lives out of the spotlight, some have gone so far as to say that the whole family was involved in covering up Duggar's behavior. Others, meanwhile, have stuck by the Duggars, pointing to their dedication to family and conservative Christian principles as reasons to do so. Although Duggar's behavior is completely unacceptable, these people contend that the entire family should not be held to a higher standard because of the transgressions of one individual. How Josh Duggar's children will be affected in the future. Josh Duggar's actions have altered his children's life in ways that are difficult to predict, but it's certain that these changes will last. The Duggar children have always been famous, but this incident has really brought their already intense level of public scrutiny to a whole new level. Growing up in a family now linked to scandal and crime is difficult enough, but they also have to deal with the emotional aftermath of their father's acts. The brief absence of the Duggar father figure will undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on the lives of the 6 Duggar children. The combination of the situation's emotional toll and the public spotlight on their family's problems will surely mold their lives in unpredictable ways. The next steps for Josh and his family. Looking ahead, what lies ahead for Josh Duggar and his family is anybody's guess given the ongoing nature of their legal battle. The fate of Duggar's marriage and connection with his children is up in the air as he confronts serious legal ramifications, such as the prospect of a long prison term. There has been both praise and condemnation for Anna Duggar's choice